Day 24. We gave you all kinds of ways you can raise credit, but it's important to also know the things that you can avoid to drop your credit. So we're going to go through some of these things today. So let's talk about the first one. Beware of debts and credits that you don't use. And what I mean by this is you may have credit cards that you're not using, and you figure you throw them in a pile, or you don't pay attention to them, or you get a letter from a credit card company that you haven't used in 6 months, and you don't even bother opening. You don't care because you're like, I never used that card. Well, there's annual fees. There's different things that are associated with it, so it's important to keep track of debts and credits that you don't use all the time, because credit cards do charge, some of them do charge annual fees. So even if you don't use the credit card at the end of the year or whenever their billing cycle comes in, you'll have an annual fee, and if you don't pay that, then you get a late fee and a fee on top of it, and if you just ignore these things, they could compound into something terrible. So make sure you know what your debts are and what your credits are. Even if you don't use them, you need to be aware of them. Okay, be careful of inquiries on your credit report. Now, we talked about hard inquiries earlier, and a hard inquiry makes your credit score goes down. A soft inquiry, or one that you search for yourself, like you did at the beginning, that doesn't do anything to your credit report. That doesn't hurt it at all. Actually, if a lender looks at your credit report and sees that you have soft inquiries, it probably shows more responsibility than anything else. The hard inquiries, though, is when you're applying for loans and credit cards. You don't want to apply for too many at one time, so you need to be careful on what type of information you fill out. Remember, they need your social security number to run your credit. Anytime you give a social security number, whether it's online or in person, know what you're doing, because the last thing you want to do is get a hard inquiry on your credit and start to drop the score. It is worth 10%. So be careful of inquiries on your credit report. Actually, you can go on your credit report, and there's other soft inquiries that credit card companies do to give you pre-offers, and those aren't hard inquiries. They don't affect your credit report, but you can put a block on that as well if you're getting too many of these offers. So you might want to look into doing something like that as well. Be careful of online loan rate comparisons. Not insurance comparisons, but loan rate comparisons. Now, if you're online and you're looking to get a mortgage, maybe you'll go to Quicken Loans or someplace that'll offer you several different loans. Well, each one of those loan companies is going to do a hard inquiry on your credit report. It doesn't mean because you filled out one form that they don't have the availability to do that. They may do it anyway, and you can get 20 loans, applications, but 20 hard inquiries, which will then hit your credit report for almost 10%. So be careful with online loan rate comparisons. Know your credit beforehand and decide, do your research, find out which ones you think are the best and go with those. All right, don't make the mistake of thinking you only have one credit report. You have three. We went over this before: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Maybe you went and got your credit report and it's only showing one. Well, then when you filled out the information, you didn't get all three. You may need to go back and change that to get all three, because creditors, some of them go by one. They'll randomly select one, or maybe they'll always use Experian or Equifax. Other companies for bigger loans will use all three. So make sure you're doing work to clean up all three of those reports. Also, don't assume that one thing will boost your credit score. It is a specific number of points. There is no quick fix, no matter who promises you this online. There may be certain things that may boost points quickly, like getting things taken off of your credit report, but there is no quick fix, and it's not just one thing that's going to change your credit score. So know that it's a variety of things, and like I gave you all the tips earlier, try to do as many of those things as you possibly can, because the more you do it, the more chance you will that your credit will improve. And don't think that having a loan or debts don't think that no loans or debts will improve your credit score. I talked about this with credit cards. Just because you're not borrowing any money does not build your credit. So don't think for a second that your credit's being built because you're not borrowing any money and you're building equity. No, you have to exercise your credit by using it, having a variety of loans, and that's how you will build it. So don't fall under the impression that nothing is good, because it isn't for the credit reporting agencies. And also, the last thing I warn everybody on is don't do anything illegal to help boost your credit score. It's not worth it. There may be little tricks that you think that may work to get your credit boosted up, but it's not worth doing anything illegal. The last thing that you need to do is fall into an investigation on your credit score or get yourself in trouble for doing something illegal to try to boost your credit score up. It's not worth it. Just be patient. Do the steps that I've given you and work slowly to build it up. For example, exercise. I go back to exercising because there's so much in common to exercise, debt, and financial freedom of your physical health. It takes time. If you use shortcuts like steroids or whatever, in the long run, it's going to hurt and affect you. It's the same thing here. If you do something illegal, it will affect you in the long run. It's not worth doing. All right? So these are some of the things to avoid for your credit scores. Make sure that you do these things. We'll also talk about other things tomorrow. Now, there's really nothing you can do. There's no exercise for this. So go back for the next couple of days and start to participate in exercising, doing other things that are helping your credit, because some of them may take more than a day. All right, thank you, and I will see you tomorrow.